how humanity fought back against the telepathic hive. The night sky shimmered with an unnatural light as Tara Singh stood on her apartment balcony, dictation recorder in hand. She'd been tracking disappearances across 3 continents for 18 months, patterns no one else had connected. Tonight would change everything. The stars above her pulsed with an eerie rhythm, like a heartbeat from beyond our world. She didn't know it yet, but she was already being watched. Tara Singh's fingers flew across her keyboard, the blue light of her monitor casting harsh shadows across her face. Coffee cups littered her desk, a monument to sleepless nights spent connecting impossible dots. 342 people missing in the last year alone, all exhibiting the same pattern. A week of reported headaches, followed by increasingly erratic behavior, culminating in disappearance. "It doesn't make sense," she muttered, pinning another photo to her evidence board. "Why isn't anyone seeing this?" The answer, buried in classified government files she'd obtained through a source who'd since gone silent, was more terrifying than she could have imagined. Grainy satellite footage showed strange atmospheric disturbances above each disappearance site. Medical records revealed unusual brain activity in patients reporting headaches near those locations. Most damning of all, a classified military memo acknowledging non-terrestrial entities and harvesting operations. When Tara published her first article, carefully anonymized and distributed through secure channels, the response was swift. Her apartment was raided within hours. She escaped through a maintenance tunnel, clutching a backpack with her evidence and a single change of clothes. "They're coming for you," her editor warned over an encrypted call. "This goes deeper than you know. Trust no one." As she fled through rain-slicked streets, Tara glimpsed something impossible. A figure on a rooftop, too tall, too thin, with eyes that reflected light like a cat's. When it turned toward her, she felt a pressure in her mind, an alien presence trying to take hold. That night, hiding in a cheap motel, she experienced her first headache. Dr. Emil Novak had been studying unusual brain patterns in patients across Seattle when the government shut down his research. A respected neurologist with 3 decades of experience, he recognized the patterns immediately when Tara showed him her files. "This isn't random," he said, examining MRI scans she'd obtained. "These are signs of external neural synchronization. Something or someone is attempting to establish a connection with these people's minds." Emil's lab, hidden in the basement of an abandoned hospital, became their first sanctuary. There, they discovered the terrifying truth. The headaches were the first stage of a process, a telepathic link being established by something not of this world. "They're creating receivers," Emil explained, his voice trembling as he showed Tara his findings. "Human minds being rewired to join some kind of network." The lab door burst open before he could continue. Men in black tactical gear poured in, but they moved strangely in perfect unison, their eyes vacant. When they spoke, it was with one voice. "You will join the nexus. Resistance causes unnecessary pain." Emil pushed Tara toward an emergency exit as he lunged for a homemade EMP device. The blast knocked out the lights and gave them precious seconds to escape, but not before Tara saw one of the intruders' faces distort, the skin becoming translucent, revealing something inhuman beneath. On the run, Tara's headaches intensified. Visions flashed through her mind, vast chambers filled with suspended human bodies, alien machinery pulsing with light, and at the center of it all, a massive neural network connecting thousands of minds. "They're in my head," she told Emil as they fled north toward the Canadian wilderness. "I can feel them searching." Emil taught her mental exercises to block the intrusion techniques he'd developed after studying the brain patterns of those who had successfully resisted the initial connection. It wasn't a cure, but it bought them time. Their breakthrough came unexpectedly at a remote gas station in northern Washington. A man approached them, moving with the jerky uncertainty of someone fighting against his own body. "You're fighting them too," he gasped, blood trickling from his nose with the effort of speaking independently. "I'm Jonah. I escaped. The processing center." Jonah Lee had been taken 3 months earlier, but had somehow broken free during transport between facilities. His mind showed signs of partial conversion. He could sense the hive, but maintained his individuality through sheer force of will. "They call themselves the Myriad," he told them, his eyes darting nervously as if watching something they couldn't see. "They've been harvesting humans for decades, adding our minds to their collective. They need us, our creativity, our emotional capacity, things they lost millennia ago when they first joined their consciousness." With Jonah's help, they identified a pattern in the abductions and tracked down others who had escaped or were fighting the connection. A resistance formed small at first, then growing as they developed better methods to shield their minds. But time was running out. The headaches were spreading globally. The Myriad were accelerating their harvest. 6 months after her first article, Tara found herself in an abandoned mining complex in the Canadian Rockies, surrounded by 24 survivors who had all broken free from the Myriad's influence. Each carried mental scars from their partial conversion, but each also possessed unique insights into the alien consciousness. Emil had transformed the mining facility into a laboratory, studying the neural patterns of those who had escaped. Jonah, whose connection to the hive was strongest, served as their window into the enemy's plans. "They're building something," he said during one of their strategy sessions, his voice hollow from the strain of maintaining his mental barriers. "A nexus point, a physical structure that will amplify their telepathic reach. When it's complete, they'll be able to convert millions simultaneously." Tara, who had become adept at blocking the alien presence in her mind, focused on gathering intelligence. Her journalist's instincts proved invaluable as she pieced together the scope of the invasion from scattered reports and the experiences of survivors. "It's not just abductions anymore," she reported after returning from a dangerous reconnaissance mission to a small town in Idaho. "They're infiltrating governments, military, media, anyone with influence. The people look human, but their minds are gone, replaced with extensions of the hive." The turning point came when Emil made a startling discovery. While examining Jonah's brain activity during a particularly strong hive connection. "The Myriad's telepathic network operates like a computer system," he explained, excitement breaking through his exhaustion. "It has protocols, authentication methods, vulnerabilities, and most importantly, it can be hacked." Working day and night, Emil developed what he called a mental virus, a thought pattern that, when introduced into the hive mind, would create a cascading disruption. The concept was revolutionary, using the Myriad's own telepathic network against them. "Think of it as a cognitive feedback loop," he told the group. "Once inserted into the network, it will replicate across connected minds, temporarily severing their link to the hive. For those fully converted, it might not be enough, but for recent captives, it could free them." The challenge was delivery. Someone would need to voluntarily establish a complete connection to the hive to upload the virus, a process that would likely be fatal to the human host. "I'll do it," Jonah volunteered, his face grim but determined. "I'm already halfway there, might as well make it count." Tara objected fiercely. "There has to be another way. We can't sacrifice anyone. That makes us no better than them." Her insistence led to their most significant breakthrough. Rather than a single point of entry, they developed a distributed approach. Multiple resistance members would establish partial connections simultaneously, each uploading a fragment of the virus. None would be fully absorbed, but together they could breach the hive's defenses. Their first test came sooner than expected. A processing facility was discovered in an abandoned subway station beneath Chicago. With a small team, Tara infiltrated the site, finding hundreds of humans in various stages of conversion suspended in gelatinous pods, their minds being systematically rewired. The horror of seeing the process up close steeled their resolve. Using Emil's techniques, 5 team members established partial connections to the local Hive node and simultaneously introduced virus fragments. The effect was immediate and dramatic. The facility's alien operators convulsed as the disruption spread through their neural network. Conversion pods opened, releasing dazed but conscious humans. For 7 minutes, before the Hive adapted and sealed the breach, they were able to free over 200 captives. "It works," Tara told Emil over their secure channel, her voice thick with emotion as she helped disoriented survivors to evacuation points. "But they're already adapting. We need to strike at the source before they can develop countermeasures." The partial success revealed both the potential of their approach and its limitations. The virus could temporarily disrupt the Hive connection, but the effect was localized and brief. To truly break the Myriad's hold on humanity, they would need to target the nexus itself, the central hub of the entire network. Through Jonah's deteriorating connection to the Hive, they learned its location, a massive structure being built in the remote mountains of Patagonia, disguised as a private astronomical research facility. "We have one chance," Tara told the expanded resistance, now numbering in the hundreds. "The nexus will be complete in 3 weeks. Once it's operational, the Myriad will be able to convert the entire planet in a matter of days." The Patagonian facility loomed against the night sky, its architecture a disturbing blend of human and alien design. Massive dishes pointed toward the stars, channeling cosmic energy to power the telepathic amplifiers within. Guards patrolled the perimeter, some human, others clearly not, their movements too fluid, too coordinated. Tara led the infiltration team, her mind heavily shielded using Emil's most advanced techniques. Beside her, Jonah struggled to maintain his individuality, the proximity to the nexus strengthening the Hive's pull on his partially converted brain. "Stay with me," she whispered, gripping his arm as his eyes momentarily glazed over. "Remember who you are." Their plan was audacious. Emil and a team of resistant scientists had developed an enhanced version of the mental virus, designed to create a catastrophic feedback loop within the nexus itself. Meanwhile, teams around the world stood ready to strike at processing facilities the moment the Hive mind was disrupted. Using security protocols extracted from Jonah's Hive memories, they bypassed the outer defenses. Inside, the true nature of the facility revealed itself: organic technology fused with human machinery, pulsing with an eerie bioluminescence. At the center stood the Nexus core, a massive crystalline structure housing thousands of interconnected human brains, harvested from early abductees and serving as the foundation of the Myriad's Earth-based network. "My God," Tara breathed, documenting everything with a small camera. Even after all she'd seen, the scale of the operation was staggering. This is what they've been building toward. Their presence didn't go unnoticed for long. An alarm not sound, but a psychic pressure that made their ears bleed reverberated through the facility. Guards converged from all directions, moving with the perfect synchronization of Hive-controlled units. "They know we're here," Jonah gasped, falling to his knees as the Hive mind assaulted his fragile mental barriers. "They're calling reinforcements." Tara made a split-second decision. New plan. "Emil, begin the upload sequence now, not at the core. Jonah and I will create a diversion." As Emil and the technical team found a terminal to initiate the virus upload, Tara and Jonah fought their way toward the facility's power distribution center. If they couldn't destroy the nexus directly, they would overload it. In the heart of the facility, Tara finally came face to face with the architects of the invasion, the Myriad Elders. Unlike their drone-like servants, the Elders maintained individual identities within the collective, their alien forms housed in elaborate mechanical bodies. "You fight what you do not understand," they spoke directly into her mind, their combined voice overwhelming. "We offer transcendence, an end to isolation. Your species suffers from the prison of individual consciousness. Tara felt the weight of their collective will pressing against her mental shields, probing for weaknesses. Beside her, Jonah collapsed, blood streaming from his eyes as he fought to maintain his sense of self. "We understand perfectly," Tara countered, buying time as Emil's team worked. "You're not offering transcendence, you're harvesting us, stealing what makes us human to serve your own purposes." The elder's response came with crushing force. "Your individuality is inefficient, temporary. In the collective, you would be eternal." As they spoke, Tara felt something shift in the psychic atmosphere. Emil had begun the upload. The virus was entering the system, spreading through the neural network like wildfire. The elders sensed it too. Their mechanical bodies convulsed as the disruption reached the nexus core. "What have you done?" Their unified voice fractured into discordant individual cries. The effect spread faster than they had anticipated. Throughout the facility, Hive-controlled humans suddenly stopped, their expressions shifting from blank compliance to confusion, and then horror as their individual consciousness reasserted itself. The nexus core pulsed with chaotic energy as the virus replicated across the network, creating the feedback loop Emil had designed. Crystalline structures cracked, releasing imprisoned minds from their forced communion. Tara helped Jonah to his feet as the facility began to shake around them. "We need to evacuate now. The power core is destabilizing." As they fled through corridors now filled with disoriented, freed humans, Tara witnessed the collapse of the Myriad's carefully constructed hierarchy. The elders, their connection to the Hive severed, were reduced to isolated alien entities, their mechanical bodies failing without the collective intelligence to operate them. Outside, as evacuation ships lifted off from the facility, a psychic shockwave rippled outward the death throes of the nexus. Across the globe, processing facilities shut down as the controlling intelligence disappeared. Converted humans collapsed, their minds suddenly freed from external control. In the aftermath, as their transport sped away from the imploding facility, Tara held Jonah's hand. His eyes, clear for the first time since she'd met him, filled with tears. "I can't hear them anymore," he whispered. "The voices, they're gone." Emil, monitoring global communications, looked up from his tablet with wonder. "It's happening everywhere. The network is collapsing. People are waking up." Tara stared back at the receding facility, now engulfed in blue fire as alien technology self-destructed. The journalist in her had already begun composing the story, the most important one she would ever tell. But more than that, she felt the weight of what they had preserved. Humanity's greatest strength had proven to be not its technology or numbers, but the very individuality the Myriad had sought to erase. "We should be ready," she said, looking at the faces around her, the first of millions who would need to rebuild their lives and identities. "This isn't over. The Myriad will adapt, evolve. They might return." Emil nodded gravely. "But next time we'll be ready, and we'll face them as ourselves, not as parts of a hive, but as individuals standing together by choice." As their ship disappeared into the night sky, Tara began recording her account of what had happened. The world deserved to know not just about the invasion they had survived, but about the power of human consciousness, fragile, individual, and ultimately unconquerable. Tara stood before the United Nations General Assembly, her testimony the culmination of a global reckoning with what had nearly been humanity's end. Recovery efforts continued worldwide as formerly converted individuals struggled to reclaim their identities and societies grappled with the knowledge that they were not alone in the universe. "The Myriad saw our individuality as a weakness," she told the assembled delegates, her voice steady despite the magnitude of the moment. "They believed that by absorbing us into their collective, they were offering salvation. What they failed to understand, what saved us all, was that our strength lies precisely in our separateness, in the unique perspectives that only individual consciousness can provide." In research facilities around the world, Emil and other scientists studied the remnants of Myriad technology, developing new defenses against telepathic intrusion. Jonah, still bearing the neural scars of his partial conversion, led support groups for survivors, helping them rebuild their sense of self. And somewhere in the vast darkness between stars, the remaining Myriad collective processed its failure, adapting and evolving. The human victory had been significant but incomplete. The hive mind had lost a battle but not its purpose. It would return, perhaps in years, perhaps in generations, with new methods to achieve its ancient goal. But humanity would be waiting, standing not as a rival hive mind, but as billions of individual lights separate, unique, and together, forming a constellation that even the oldest intelligence in the galaxy had failed to extinguish. Thank you for listening.